Why do we love horror movies? One might answer this question by citing adrenaline, as if watching a good, scary flick is akin to going on a roller coaster ride. One might cite pent-up aggression that has to be released, the same reason we might like playing violent video games. One might cite curiosity of the uncanny. All these are good reasons, but I want to explore something deeper, something indeed at the heart of storytelling, and manifests more in horror than any other genre, and that is the externalization of our shadow self. The shadow self comprises of the qualities within ourselves that we don't consciously recognize because they might be too negative, and acknowledging them would make us extremely uncomfortable. Thus, we tend to strongly dislike as well as be completely fascinated by individuals who seem to embody our shadow selves, because in a way, we're envious of the fact that someone else has found a way to embrace the very qualities that we ourselves repress. Although the shadow self is an individual concept, it can be applied to the collective. Our society is filled with contradictions. It's important to be polite, we have free speech, and healthcare and welfare. But there is also war and torture, and senseless brutality and violence. It is extremely troubling to consider the collective shadow, one that paints human beings as savages, each with the physical and cognitive capacity to commit evil. Horror movies save the day. They are the ultimate artistic act of externalizing our shadow selves and projecting it onto the boogeyman, the slasher, the ghost, the devil. In Rosemary's Baby, Guy basically sells his wife's unborn baby's soul to Satan to further his own acting career. And don't we know a few parents who are so caught up in their careers that they end up neglecting their child? Or perhaps it's something more sinister. In The Conjuring, Carolyn is possessed by the devil and almost kills her own daughter. A mother loves her children, but once in a blue moon, for 2 seconds or for a split second, might regret having them. It's an uncomfortable thought and we don't like to talk about it. We feel bad. But a horror movie externalizes it as the work of the devil and brings about catharsis. In The Grudge, a man kills his wife and child, and now the place is haunted by ghosts. The idea of a haunting is basically that the past has an unrelenting grip on the present, and anyone who's ever faced a consequence understands that. Within our civilized society, deep inside the recesses of the mind, we still carry around the ghost of the savage, murdering barbarian. The man who killed his family wasn't possessed by anything, and it's this side of humanity that is truly scary. But the film cathartically redirects our fear to the ghost. And we know that ghosts don't exist, so we can all breathe a sigh of collective relief. The German horror film Antibodies has a cool premise, that evil is like a virus, transferring from one person to the next. Although this makes it so that we're all vulnerable to sudden bouts of evil, it still treats the dark side that we all have as something external. Hell, this started way back when the Bible insisted that sins came from a fruit tree, because with externalization comes the hope of redemption, or destruction. Supernatural and demonic forces seem greater than us, and make us feel powerless, which accounts for a lot of the surface-level fear of horror films. But they save us from the only real fear there is, that possessed or not, the devil resides within us, and there is no exorcism. Thanks for watching. So I guess the best thing we can do is, first become aware that we do have a shadow self, and be okay with its existence, maybe even try to make friends, to understand it, and to bring at least some parts of it to light, so it doesn't suddenly explode out in violent rage. You know, I always thought that The Exorcist was kind of a funny movie. I mean, Reagan is becoming stronger, she's being rude to the adults, she's swearing, she's masturbating, she's just going through some adolescent changes, and her mother is just freaking out. Anyway, I absolutely love horror movies. Let me know if there are any that you would recommend.